Welcome back to the channel Numisma Hub Coin Enthusiasts. Today, we journey back to 1968, a landmark year in British coinage history. This was the year the United Kingdom introduced the 10 new pence coin, featuring the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin and the Proud Crowned Lion by Christopher Ironside. Struck in copper-nickel, this large silver-colored coin was one of the very first steps toward decimalisation, replacing the old 2-shilling piece, and preparing the nation for the modern money system we know today. Though not rare, the 1968 10 new pence carries great historical importance, symbolizing the beginning of a new era in British currency. Top 3 first up. The 1968 UK 10 new pence coin holds a very important place in British coinage history because it was among the very first decimal coins to be introduced in the United Kingdom. Until that time, the British currency system was based on the old pounds, shillings, and pence format, which was considered outdated and complicated for modern trade. In preparation for decimalisation, which officially took place on February 15, 1971, the Royal Mint began issuing certain decimal coins in advance so that the public could become familiar with the new money. The 10 new pence coin, issued in 1968 under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, was one of the first decimal coins released 3 years earlier, along with the 5 new pence. This coin replaced the 2-shilling piece florin, and both coins circulated together for some years since they were of the same size and value. The obverse front of the coin features the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, which was introduced in 1968 and used until 1984. In this portrait, the Queen is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a very elegant and recognizable crown. Around the portrait are the words Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1968, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse back design of the coin, created by Christopher Ironside, displays a crowned lion, which is one of the traditional heraldic symbols of England, symbolizing strength, courage, and royal authority. The words new pence appear above the lion, and the denomination 10 is shown below it. The coin itself was made of copper-nickel, giving it a silvery appearance, and it weighed 11.31 grams, with a diameter of 28.5 millimeters. This made it a large coin, much bigger than the modern 10 pence we use today. It remained in circulation until 1992, when the United Kingdom decided to introduce smaller, lighter versions of the 10 pence coin, which replaced the old, large type. Because of this change, the 1968 large-sized 10 new pence coin became obsolete and was eventually demonetized, meaning it was no longer accepted as legal tender. In terms of collectability, the 1968 10 new pence coin is not considered rare because it was minted in very large numbers to prepare for decimalisation. However, it holds huge historical value because it marks the beginning of the transition from the old British monetary system to the modern decimal system we use today. For collectors, it is often kept as a symbol of change and modernization in British coinage. It also represents the early use of Arnold Machin's portrait of the Queen, which became one of the most familiar images of Elizabeth II across many coins of the Commonwealth. Next up, the 1969 UK 10 new pence coin was part of the United Kingdom's major move towards decimalisation, which aimed to replace the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler, modern decimal currency. This transformation began in 1968 with the introduction of new coins, including the 5 and 10 new pence pieces, even before decimalisation officially came into effect in 1971. The 10 new pence coin was equivalent in value to the old 2-shilling coin florin, making the transition easier for the public as it had the same size, weight, and value as the coin it replaced. Issued under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the coin quickly became a familiar part of everyday British currency. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most iconic royal effigy designs. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a wedding gift to Queen Mary in 1893 and later passed down to Elizabeth II. The inscription around the portrait reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, defender of the faith. This regal design helped establish continuity between the old pre-decimal coins and the new decimal series, while also highlighting the modernization of British currency. On the reverse side, the design by Christopher Ironside displays the traditional lion passing guardant, a historic heraldic symbol associated with English monarchy and strength. The inscription around the design reads New Pence, along with the denomination 10 beneath the lion. The inclusion of the lion was deliberate, as it tied the coin to centuries of royal symbolism, helping the British people feel a sense of tradition even in the midst of significant currency reform. The reverse was admired for its simplicity, strength, and connection to national heritage, making the 10 new pence coin stand out as both practical money and a piece of history. The 1969 issue of the 10 new pence was struck in copper-nickel alloy, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silver-like appearance. It weighed 11.31 grams and measured 28.5 millimeters in diameter, making it a fairly large coin compared to today's 10 pence pieces. This larger version of the coin remained in circulation until 1992, when a smaller and lighter version was introduced to better suit modern needs. However, the 1969 coin remains a nostalgic reminder of the early days of decimal currency and represents a fascinating moment in British numismatic history when old traditions and new systems were merging together. Today, the 1969 10 new pence coin is not particularly rare, as millions were minted for circulation. However, it is still a valuable collector's item for those interested in decimalisation history and coins from the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Collectors often preserve these coins in good condition, appreciating their size, weight, and historical symbolism. While its face value is small, its true worth lies in its heritage. It marks the beginning of a new financial era in Britain, one that made currency easier to use while still respecting royal and national traditions. Thank you so much for watching and learning about the 1969 UK 10 new pence coin. This coin is not just money, but a piece of British history that reflects the great change of decimalisation during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. If you found this information helpful and interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin histories. See you in the next video.